Joseph Poliquin. Welcome to the Hell Fucking Yeah podcast, man.
What's up?
What's up, man? Film and TV actor, musician, and all around rad dude. Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So yeah, man, where are you living now?
I'm in Louisiana still.
Louisiana, nice. How old are you?
I'm 33.
33. All right.
Yeah.
So how's life going, man?
It's going pretty good. You know, I'm 33, but I'm getting pegged for 17-year-old characters.
Yeah. That's all right, man.
That's
Whatever works. Whatever works. So when did you know you wanted to start acting?
Oh, from a really young age. I never thought I would, but when I was really, really young, I could remember all the lines to like The Lion King and stuff like that, and I had them stuck in my head all the time, all those songs. And one day I got an audition to play Dennis the Menace in the remake. But whenever I left the birthday, my mom took the audition information. She threw it out the window, and I was like, "What was that?" She's like, "Oh, your aunt's senile. They made this TV show a long time ago, and she thinks they're auditioning for it."
Oh, yeah.
So a year later, they made the reboot, and I was just like blown away. I was like, "Oh my God, this could have been real." So like, from an early age, I always thought about it.
Well, you're the first actor I've ever actually had on the show. First of many, hopefully. You know, I'm really into. I fucking love film, the medium, the whole art of acting, and everything. And I couldn't ask for a cooler first actor, man. This is really cool.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, of course. So your first credited role was American Horror Story Freak Show, right?
Technically, it wasn't credited. Somebody, a fan of mine, knew I was on that show, and they put the credits on IMDb. And I've been spending years trying to get them off of IMDb because I only show up in American Horror Story Freak Show on the second to last episode. But I spent 7 months on that set, and we did so many amazing scenes. I became good friends with Evan Peters while I was there. Yeah. And all the stuff we did got cut. So I've been trying to get that off my IMDb, but yeah.
Oh man, well that sucks. I hope they they recut it or something one day, like a director's cut or something.
Yeah, maybe that'd be cool.
Evan Peters, right?
Yeah.
You became kind of close with him during the shooting of that, right?
As close as you could get with a coworker, I guess. I didn't go to his birthday parties or anything, but we all went to rap parties together, and we had this conversation one night about acting, and I told him, I said, I'd never seen an actor that I've been familiar with like you so close at that time. Right. And I was like, it really made me realize the work that goes into each role and the performance. And I don't know why seeing you guys do that, because I didn't even know who Finn Whitrock was at the time, but I was watching the two act all night. I was like, I don't know why seeing you guys do it made me want to do it even more. And he was like, oh man, he's like, that's what I like to hear. He's like, you could do it, man. He's like, if you want to be an actor, you could do it. I could tell you could do it. And I was like, really? What do I have to do first? He's like, get an agent, get some headshots, just get your feet wet. Man.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, just had a little bit of inspiration, that little bit of somebody, I'm inspired by telling me I could do it. That's all.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. Yeah. He's amazing, man, on that show, on all the seasons, really. Freak Show is one of my favorites. Yeah. Twisty was so scary, man. Finn Whitrock, you just mentioned his name. Yeah. He was terrifying, man, on that season.
He was.
Like, seriously. Yeah. On a side note, man, Evan Peters would make such a good, if they ever did a Clockwork Orange remake, he would make such a good fucking Alex.
Yes, I believe that. Yes. 100%.
I don't know if they actually should do that, but if they did, that would be the way to go.
If they made a Clockwork Orange for our generation, I guess, like, it would still be in that futuristic timeline, but if it was made for our generation, it probably would speak about even more serious, tones. I guess.
Yeah, they would have to change it up absolutely as far as like the time frame, but yeah, that would be interesting, but it could also be horrible. So let's not put that out there. So before that, you wrote and directed multiple no-budget, full-length features and shorts.
Yes.
You want to give us a little background on those, and can we see them anywhere?
The first film I ever put together, the first full-length, is on YouTube. It's called Immurement, IMMURE. MENT, and it's pretty terrible, but it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's a no budget, like you said, no budget slasher. That's kind of what we did. It was like our forte,
Right.
and we didn't have any like mindset of this becoming, you know, really big or well known. We just, you know, we did it for fun, just to get our feet wet, just to understand the industry a little bit more. And after I did American Horror Story, I really loved, you know, from high school up until now, I've always loved making little indie films with friends.
Sure.
So I thought a lot of these people, you know, they get their foot in the door, they get in the industry, they get their face on something, and all of a sudden they think that like their worth changes, that, you know, oh, I can't do anything indie, I can't do anything no budget, you know. Right. If you're SAG, yeah, you can't act in anything, you know, no budget.
Right.
But I feel like if you stop creating stuff on your own, like for yourself, not for the world to see, but just stuff for your, you know, yourself and your friends. If you stop doing that, then you stop learning. So we kept making no budget films, and we kept learning more and more about the industry, about, you know, what kind of people you could end up employing on your set that tell you they want to work really hard, and then 2 days into the job they quit, you know.
Right.
And you have to take over doing makeup, and I'm not a makeup artist. So it's like I learned a lot doing no budget films, and I love it so much that I think that even if, you know, I do become something that people recognize in film, I'm still going to make no budget slashers, or at least, you know, low budget slashers if I have to go SAG.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's really cool. Do you think that you would work in like a trauma film or something like that? You know, are you familiar with trauma? Yeah.
Absolutely. I love trauma.
That's kind of like the what you're going for there. So I looked up a couple of titles. You have Immurement and Stiffed was like a short film you guys made?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
audience awards in 48-hour film festival.
Get out of here. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're horror. You said slasher for the first one.
Yeah, Stiffed isn't much of a horror, but it's definitely a thriller. Yeah.
So you're a big horror fan?
Oh, huge horror fan. It's what got me into American Horror Story.
Yeah.
I was such a big fan of horror already, and then that was my mom's favorite TV show. So she made me watch it one day, and I was like, wow, the show's actually really well thought out, and it's crazy how every season, you know, is changing stories.
I love that. I love the whole anthology thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. And like, because you get used to the actors, and the show isn't really about the story. It's about the actors and the team, the producer, Ryan, and it's like they all make this together. You see a show, oh, what show are they going to put on next year? You know, and that's what I loved about it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm a big horror fan. From 8 years old, my dad let me watch Scream. So yeah, I had a big crush on Drew Barrymore at the time.
Oh yeah.
And seeing Drew Barrymore getting gutted and hanging from a tree, it desensitized me in a saying.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, for a good reason, because it made me not scared of anything. It made me realize that it's all acting, you know. And then when I get on set with like stuff like American Horror Story, Michael Goy and the rest of the crew are sitting here thinking about how this character's head's gonna explode. And on camera, everyone's like, you know, or on the actual show, people are like terrified, oh, scared. But here on set, we're all standing around this like animatronic, you know, it's gonna explode.
Right.
And when it does, everyone on set's like, oh, they all get chills, they all get grossed out.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize these people that are making the scariest thing on TV are just like us. They're all scared and creeped out by it too. If they weren't, they're not doing a good job.
Right. Yeah. If you're, you know, right, exactly. If you're not freaking yourself out, you're not going to freak anybody else out.
Exactly.
You know, that's really cool. So you started off as a musician. You have a band called Henry V, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Are you still making music? I know you're not touring right now because of everything that's going on, but are you planning on touring again?
I was actually invited by Riff Raff, music extraordinaire. He wanted me to be his guitarist on tour.
Wow.
And March 15th, I was headed up to Illinois to go to the first date. It was March 17th was the first date. I was going to go to the first day of his tour. And if it went well, I was going to be on tour with Riff Raff, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so I was really excited about that. And then I'm driving up to Illinois, March 15th. I got a phone call from a friend. They're like, yeah, Riff Raff canceled his tour.
Yeah, March 15th sounds about right as far as like, oh, we're all fucked.
It sucked, man.
That sucks. So is it, you know, if it's going to happen again or?
He's doing some like small venues with like, you know, minimum capacity, live streamed. And now Facebook is saying that if you're a musician that's live streaming at any venues, you can have your Facebook account deleted, which is really screwed up. I get it. They don't want us to influence other people to have big shows that aren't, COVID procedurally, taken care of. And I get that. I get that because there's a lot of procedures we have to go through now. Everyone's got to get their temperature checked 5 times a day. Everyone, it's a weird world we live in. But it's even harder for these actors because the people on set, the crew, even on stage, the crews, they just got to wear a mask and get their temperature checked. But an actor, because we don't wear masks in the scenes, they want us to get tested, COVID tested, and then they want us to even if we don't have COVID, we have to quarantine for 2 weeks. Like I just get booked for a lead role in a feature film that I'm doing in Connecticut, and I have to quarantine for 2 effing weeks while I'm sitting in Connecticut. I don't know anybody in Connecticut. I'm going to be bored as shit for 2 weeks, but it's like, it's COVID procedures. And it's like the weirdest, like to me, and I don't want to be one of those like analytical type or workaholic type people, but I love creating. I love either writing music or creating or writing scripts. I'm writing 2 scripts right now for somebody. And it's just, when you have 2 weeks of quarantine where you can't see anybody face to face, you can't go out and do anything, and you still have to deliver your food to yourself, so we still have to get food delivered to us. And then we have to think, what are the people doing when they prepare our food? I doubt they're all being, purely safe with the COVID procedures. So it's like, it makes no sense to me. I'm just going to say this, like, why are we banking our existence on testing people to see if they're positive or negative for something they could get tomorrow after they take the test? The test results don't come in for a week. So by the time the test results come in, they could be dying of COVID and their test results say that they're negative. Right. And
I agree with that 100%. It's, yeah, exactly. It could happen 2 weeks from now where you would have it right now, but you won't test positive for it. Right.
Exactly.
So you can just be sitting around fucking spreading it all over the place. And, 2 weeks later, oh shit, I have it. But how many people have you affected beforehand? It's insane. Yeah, it's insane.
I think we've all, to be honest, come in contact with it.
I think so. I think so.
We go to Walmart, we go to, we have to get our cars worked on. There's nothing we can do. Like, it's like SARS. It's like any other disease. We didn't get Ebola. Our arms aren't falling off. I feel like, it's as bad as it is to say it. Like, yes, diseases will kill sick people. They always have. Diseases are common. So, like, if you run into somebody with a disease, you may catch it. It's always been that way. But as long as you're safe. So, yeah, if we're being safer, we're wearing masks, we're socially distancing, it can only make it better for us. It can only make our health better in the long run. Sure. But that should kind of be the plateau where we end. Like you can't be too safe, but you also can't be too paranoid. Like if I thought, oh, I might catch pneumonia, period, like before COVID, I could catch pneumonia from anyone or from, any situation, and I wouldn't go outside ever. But I think that's kind of the risk of living is that, you could catch a disease and die, or you could believe in your human ability to fight anything that comes your way and just be like, oh yeah, bring that disease on. Bring it on. Let me beat it now so I'm stronger tomorrow.
And that's very important too, like risk. I mean, I could avoid COVID for the next 3 years, but I can get in my car and get into an accident. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's
and then waste the rest of your life just because you're paranoid with COVID. Right. It upsets me. It really does. I mean, my grandfather has had pneumonia 3 years in a row. This is the first year he hasn't had pneumonia. Wow. So yeah, it goes to show, like, my dad works at a casino, so he's around 300 people a day. Right. And he said most of them don't even wear their masks at the table. Wow. They take the mask off to cough and sneeze because they want to get it in the mask. So it's like, none of it makes any sense, to be honest.
Right. It doesn't really make sense. And I'm not a freak about it. I'm precautious, of course, and I respect other people when I go out. I throw my mask on, whatever. Exactly. But at what point are we going to sanitize ourselves so much that when something actually does come along, like the common head cold is going to fucking kill us? Yeah. Exactly.
No, that's very true. Yeah. We're supposed to be immune to things by, interacting with it.
Exactly.
Like I said, cold used to kill people. People forget about that. The cold used to kill so many people, and now it's like we don't even fret. We don't even take medicine when the cold hits us. Yeah,
I can't help but think, conspiracy theory a little bit, but can't help but think it's population control in some way.
Oh, dude, I absolutely think it could be population control, and it could at the same time just be a way for us to get used to them changing laws or forcing us to believe anything they want us to believe. They're just testing us, Oh, we can say aliens exist.
Yeah.
And they all believe that. Oh, we can say this. Right. And now they're probably, back in the lab cooking up the next conspiracy that they can control the election with, or, I mean, because if people really open their eyes in 2016, whenever the Trump election happened, there was the Ebola breakout. In 2012, there was
swine.
Yeah, it was swine, and it was another one. And there's always been a disease that they try to scare you to stay home and stay away from the polls.
Yep.
Like, so it just seems a little too ironic that it came, this year of all years.
Yeah. No, I'm waiting for the aliens are coming, and we're all gonna have fucking like tinfoil hats on.
Oh, dude,
it's gonna be required. You're gonna have to wear them.
They already believe it. They are.
I know.
Oh yeah, the requirement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you wearing your COVID mask and your tinfoil hat?
Yeah. We're all gonna look insane. Not that we don't already.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But the tinfoil hat's really just to keep us away from the 5G. The 5G signals everyone's freaked out about.
Yeah, right. So, man, you have.
Do you do a lot of conspiracy on here?
What's up? No. I gotta say, actually, this is my first conspiracy conversation. First for everything today, man. First actor, first conspiracy theory. Great. So, man, you have an impressive filmography, including Daddy's Home, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, Vice Principals, the Danny McBride show on HBO.
That was so much fun.
Which, I love fucking Danny McBride. Anything he makes, I'll watch. I swear, the guy can like eat breakfast and I'll watch it.
He's literally my number one favorite actor.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome, man. More recently, the Purge TV series, Queen and Slim, Project Power on Netflix, and Greyhound with Tom Hanks. Fucking wow, man. The funny thing is, I've seen pretty much everything you're in, so I'm just a huge fan by default.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool.
I actually have a few on my list that I haven't seen that I'm definitely going to watch. Eat Brains, Love, and Family.
Yes.
So I can't wait to check those out.
Awesome. Family is I think it's one of the most important films that I got to do at this point, because it talks so much about inclusiveness, but it also talks about like how we only include certain people in that inclusiveness, jar. Like we don't include people that we don't want in there. We don't include juggalos. We don't include, people who might be just a little awkward. It's like, be inclusive as long as you're hot and cool and famous.
Right.
But they don't. So I love Family. I love that movie. It's
got a cool social commentary behind it. And,
absolutely.
Kate McKinnon's in it. And I hate to do this, but I forgot her name. She was on Orange is the New Black.
Taylor Schilling.
Yes.
Taylor Schilling. Yeah.
She's amazing, man.
Awesome.
So I really want to see that. So actually, let's start with Project Power. For everyone listening, if you haven't seen it, Project Power is a film on Netflix starring Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Machine Gun Kelly. It's a sci-fi action movie, I would say, about a pill that gives you superpowers for like 5 minutes. And, of course, it winds up in the wrong hands, in like a, supervillain kind of way. So directed by Ariel Schulman and Henry Joost, the guys behind Catfish. So you play a stoner in the movie named Indo.
Yeah, guilty.
Yeah.
I get typecasted for that kind of character because of my Filipino eyes, apparently.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, man, you did a great job. You fucking,
thank you.
Very funny in this. Definitely comic relief, part of it. So you played that character very naturally. Would you say you're the class clown in real life?
Funny? No.
No.
In high school, I was so quiet that some of the people I met recently that knew me in high school were like, how are you an actor? You didn't say a word in school. They were so quiet.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it wasn't by default. I wanted to talk. I was just shy. And every time I went out for things like drama or, sports, I didn't get picked.
Right.
So it was like, I didn't get a choice. I was kind of like on the sidelines waiting for that moment to be able to just express myself.
Right. You played a similar character too in Vice Principals, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, kind of stoner.
Yeah, actually, in Vice Principal, I think my character's title was Weed Smoking Teen.
Yeah.
That was my, and so I was under, what was it? I forgot the name of the high school. I feel so bad. I don't remember the name of the high school, but we were at an actual high school, and we were under the bleachers at the football field for the scene.
Yeah.
And they gave me an awesome audition. I got the audition. I drove out to South Carolina. They put me in a hotel. HBO, thank you, because that was awesome. They took such good care of me. But I'm sitting there on set, and they didn't give us sides. They gave us sides, but we aren't in them. So I was like, wait, but we auditioned with improv and lines, so am I supposed to improv? And the director came up, Jody, and he came up and he was like, hey, you guys are still going to improv, so just come up with something. I'm glad you're here. See you guys tonight. And he left, and we had like 6 hours, me and my scene partner, just 6 hours sitting there throwing ideas back and forth. And we finally landed on one where in the dialogue, if you watch that episode, it's episode 7 of season 1. And if you watch the dialogue, or no, excuse me, episode 4. I'm mixing up with Purge. Episode 4 of season 1. If you listen to the dialogue, there's a point where Danny McBride takes a permanent marker and writes "Belinda sucks cocks" on a bench, and he's like, yeah, that's what I can get behind. Let's tag up this school, and they're like, no, it's not a good idea. So originally, whenever Danny McBride and Walton Goggins walk underneath the bleachers, they run into us, and me and this dude are passing the joint. And he looks at me and he's like, man, I hate this school, or something like that. And I'm like, did you hear the Belinda sucks cocks? Like mentioning that scene. Yeah. And like Danny McBride, Walton Goggins, Jody had no idea what we were going to say. They had no idea what was in that scene. Like, right. But you know, they know their script though. So whenever I spit that out, I was like, did you know Miss Belinda sucks cocks? They all laughed so hard they ruined the take.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, and Danny McBride laughed, and I was like, yes, gold. Life gold.
Yeah, really, man, yeah.
Danny McBride laughed. And he walks up to me, and he's like, hey, that was pretty good, man. I'm Danny. And he, like, introduced himself to me, and I was like, oh, really? I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
It was epic.
Did you, have you seen the new one, Righteous Gemstones?
I have.
That's
a good friend of mine, James Dumont, is one of the stars of that. And
yeah.
He kills it, man. He does so good in that show.
Yeah, that show's great, man. I can't wait for that to come back.
Yeah,
HBO's been killing it lately. Speaking of HBO, I don't know, and you know, horror, Lovecraft Country. Have you seen that?
Man, yeah! Shout out to Kyler Porche for that. Oh my God!
Wow,
Lovecraft Country, so good.
Wow.
Kyler Porche, if you watched the last episode, he played he's like a jock kind of dude with a nice car, and he got like, I don't want to spoil it, but didn't end well. It didn't end well.
Oh
for him.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was some episode, that last one.
Yeah, it was great.
That high heel scene was something else.
Way to go, guys. That was sick.
Yeah. So, working with, did you get to work with Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt at all on the set?
I did work with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. For those of you who saw the movie, everything that was shot, it was like, you know, it was there. It was all live.
Yeah.
We had 2 other scenes. This is okay. Warning to anybody who wants to be an actor in the future. I'm gonna go ahead and do this for you right now and bust that bubble. You will get cut out. Your first few things will get cut completely out. Like I said, that vice principal episode, they actually cut out the lines that we had, and it wasn't, it was no dialogue, but it was all edited to music, and it worked so well. I was like, it makes sense,
Right.
But you have to be okay with it, because you have to realize they're making art, and you want it to stand and last throughout the ages,
right?
So that people 20 years from now can still watch it. Exactly. Yeah. You cannot take it personally. You can't marry yourself to any part. Even if you have a lead role in a film, it could get cut down very, very small. One of the lead actors of Neverending Story 2, the main actor that replaced the first film actor, you might recognize him from like a lot of Disney stuff. He was a great actor, and then we never saw him again. Well, sadly, rest in peace, he killed himself because he did a film with Bruce Willis, and he had a lead role in it, and he got completely cut out of the film. So when that happened, it hurt him so bad. He was like, this is my acting career. Why am I not getting these shots? Why am I not getting there? And I've learned from his story and from many other stories, like Finn from Glee, many, many people have gone down a path where they're waiting and expecting something, and when that thing doesn't happen, they feel like they failed everyone. Right. They feel like, people want to be proud of me, they want to be inspired by me, but if I'm not happy with what I'm doing, how can I inspire other people to be unhappy when they get there? And I've learned that And now I think I'm happy with anything I get, even if it gets cut, because it's not, you don't want to tell yourself, oh, I'm doing this just because I want FaceTime, I want recognition, I want that. You're doing it because you want the experience. You want to become a better actor. You want to be able to say, oh, I acted with these people, so I must be accredited. I must be decent enough to get another role. And then you just keep moving towards the next goal, you know?
Yeah.
So Daddy's Home, Vice Principals, Hot Pursuit, so many films that I did and TV shows, my lines got cut. And I just looked like I was just an overglorified extra. And it's like, you know, when you go home, your friends are like, oh, I think I saw you in that. And that even hurts worse. But you still push forward because you know that you're not going to get cut out from everything. And eventually it's going to work out. And that's how it is. So I get these bigger roles and it's like, you know, 50 minutes of screen time and it gets cut down to like 10 minutes. And that's how it works in this industry. It's like you get these bigger roles and they'll get cut down to something small. But if you do a great job and you make sure that every time you're on camera or in a scene, you try to do something that, you know, they can't throw away. You try to give them something they can't throw away, then you'll end up at least not, you know, you'll make the cut. So with Project Power, me, CJ LeBlanc, he plays Jamie Foxx's son in Just Mercy. Me, him, and CG, we are the trio of, we're pretty much like, we're supposed to intro the film. So in the original script, I was the first person you see in the movie. I roll up on a bike to CJ. He just got his nose pierced. They don't even talk about that in the movie. He just got his nose pierced. And CG walks up eating. And all three of us are like the Three Stooges. We open up the film, and then we see someone running a roller coaster barefoot. So we're like, oh, man, we need to get that. So we go into the abandoned theme park. We run into this guy. His name's like the Vape Master or something on Instagram. He's got like 3 million followers, and he does vape tricks where he blows out a cup of smoke. Everyone knows this guy. He blows out like a jellyfish. Everyone knows this guy. They flew him in from California for this one scene. He got cut from the film completely. He's supposed to blow out a cloud of smoke that looks like a bird, and it flies by us, and we're like, oh, we blow the smoke off. And he's like, you have to find the bird. And then they go walking towards the bird, and CG starts yelling, bird! He plays Tommy in the movie. He's the guy that ends up punching Dominique. But he's like, bird! And I'm like pissed off because I don't want to be there. From the very first part of the movie, I'm like, oh, damn it. Like, I'm getting drug on this, you know, wild goose chase through a bunch of, like, drug addicts. Like, it's scary. So, like, the next scene was the scene where Robin is rapping, and you hear CG going, bird! And I'm like, shut up. There's no bird, man. So it all played into that. And that's why whenever you see CJ's character walk up behind her, and he's like, you could just give it to us. The audience originally was going to know that CJ was missing, his character Miggs. They were going to know he was missing. Where's Miggs? Where's Miggs? You know, so he was going to sneak up behind her. And then when she grabs up and grabs his nose, she's actually yanking out his nose ring, and that's why he's screaming. That's why there's blood everywhere. But I guess the producers were like, we don't care. And it just looks like she hurt his nose. That's all so they cut out the other two scenes and started with that. But at the same time, I was telling somebody about it. They're like, do you ever get mad when stuff like that gets cut? And I was like, well, think about every other actor before me. They were dealing with the same thing. Their stuff was getting cut too. But why was our performance so, you know, strong? Like, I get people every day recognize me or compliment me on it, and it's blowing my mind right now. And they're like, it felt so real. It felt like you were really terrified. And the reason why is because we had those other two scenes that we got to build our character for a couple of days. We got, you know, we built it all up to this point where it was going to explode. And as long as they kept that in the film, you were going to feel like our characters were much deeper than that one scene, you know, and they wanted that for every actor in this movie. And that's why the cast is so good. These directors, Henry and Rel, are the best two directors. I'm not talking crap about the other directors, but the best directors I've worked with, and they happen to work together at the same time. So you would think it would be confusing. You would think that one director would tell you to do something, walk away, and another director would give you a different direction of the same thing, but they're not like that. They work so well as a team that one of them is directing one thing and the other one's directing another thing, and they never cross paths, you know, in a bad way. They never like step on each other's toes. So it was awesome. It was like constantly doing a choreographed dance the entire shoot, and it was all choreographed by Corey DeMeyers, who was actually the invisible guy who shoots Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the head. Yes. Yeah. But after we finished our scene, Joseph Gordon-Levitt gave me a huge hug, like a back-cracking hug. And he was like, God, you guys were awesome. He's like, thank you all so much for giving it your all. It's going to make this movie better. Yeah. And it was just like,
You know what? Because you know what? He's been there. He's been where you, you are, or other people like you who are, you're in these movies and you're, I hate to say it, but you're getting pushed to the side a little bit. But dude, if you keep that positive outlook, you're gonna make it, man. That is first of all great advice to anybody out there listening who's pursuing a career in this. It's a very fucking hard industry to get into, man.
It is.
And it really is. You're already in there, and there's gonna be little, it's almost like a paying your dues kind of thing, I guess.
Exactly. That's 100%.
But if you, like I said, if you have that kind of outlook, you will succeed, man. And you're getting these great fucking.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I said, after years, I'm not getting cut out.
Right, right.
So I'm very, very excited.
At some point, I can tell the kind of things you're interested in. So I can tell that these kind of projects that you're in, you would watch them if you weren't in them. You know what I mean? Like you'd be a fan of these kind of things. So yeah, in a way, it's you know what direction you want to go into, and you're there, man. And the fact that you're going to keep doing your own independent things on the back burner with, no budget filming and stuff like that, fucking awesome, man. That's really
hard.
That's inspiring to me, man. That really is. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's hard, and especially another tip for future actors. Whenever you get to be a SAG actor, you can no longer act in a no-budget film. It's the number one rule of SAG is you must be contracted. You must get paid. They want you to be okay. They're trying to protect you. So I can produce these things and I can direct them because I'm not in the Directors Guild or Producers Guild, but I can't act in them. Right. So it's so funny because I'm making these movies and I'm having fun making them. I'm having a lot of fun writing them with people. I'm having fun filming them, but I can't be in them. So it's like such a catch-22, man.
Yeah, you should throw on a little mustache or something and just change your name.
I was in the last one I did called Lost Zombie, and there's a trailer for it on YouTube. You type in Lost_Zombie, and it has nothing to do with zombies. It's the main character's screen name. Right. But it's such a fun movie, and it was an important movie too. It might have been no budget, but we were talking about, the events of Amber Alert victims. Whenever you see an Amber Alert pop up, and everyone's at a party, and they just ignore the Amber Alert because you can't jump in a Scooby-Doo van and go looking for these people. Right. But these people at a gas station ignore the Amber Alert, and they end up getting caught up in the Amber Alert, suspect.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, and it's,
the concept.
Also exactly. And at the same, there's this back commentary, for we keep cutting away to the story of the main character or one of the main characters. And his backstory is that he was abused sexually as a teen. And so that's why he's got so much pent up aggression. And that's why you see him as this character that couldn't possibly save the day in the film. But then at the end of the film, spoiler alert, he does a lot. He does a lot.
Yeah.
And it's really crazy. It really is. And I probably, in the future, I'm going to talk more about that film whenever I get the chance. Sure. Maybe if I'm on the Today Show or something, because there's a lot that went on with the making of that film that put me through so much, I wouldn't say strife, but it was the heaviest lesson I ever had in my heart with making films ever. Mm-hmm. And it also taught me what the industry goes through. Every time you see someone in the industry that messes up or does something bad and it's evil, you got to remember even the most horrible banality of men, or it's still men, it's still humans. It's still, no matter what evil thing they can do, they can only do a certain amount of evil. It's just what humans are capable of. And to combat that, you have to be prepared that you're in this, production with 300 people, or, in our case, it was 70 people, I think. So you're in a production, with multiple people. You've got to assume that one of these people is going to be a fake person, or going to be a bad person, or going to try to do something bad if they aren't a decent human being. Right. So if you're prepared for that, then it won't break your heart. But it will happen. And I learned that in a hard way, that sometimes you'll bring these people into your life or into your production or into your story, and you want to work with nothing but decent human beings, and there's going to be a bad apple somewhere. And it's crazy that the internet and the majority of people in this world see that one bad person in Hollywood, which I don't even like to claim Hollywood. The name is just set up to bring us down. Right. But one bad person in the entertainment industry, and they're going to blame every single one of us. They're going to blame every entertainer. They're going to say that we're all evil, we're all terrible. And it's funny because at the same time, the whole world is also fighting a message that everyone who's black is evil, or everyone who's a cop is evil. So it's you're already standing up for, don't judge one person for the actions of another. You're already standing up for that message, unless it's Hollywood. And the reason why is because 99% of us really do wish that we could have some kind of form of career in arts. And when we see other people who have that and we don't have that, we just want them to be torn down. We want them to be brought down to our level. And I hate that. I hate that us as a society do that to each other.
Yeah.
Because I think that people need to realize when you're making a film in Timbuktu or you're making a film in Japan, it's not Hollywood. You're not in Hollywood. You're not associated with Hollywood. You're just making a film. But as soon as your film gets seen by people and it gets accepted and starts winning awards, they slump you in with Hollywood. They think that you're no good and they don't want to support you.
Yeah.
Yet they buy all your films and they watch all your shows. It's confusing.
Yeah, no, you brought up a lot of good points in there, man. Dude, what the hell is going on today?
Blame it on the conspiracies.
Yeah, dude, because you know what? Yeah, you just said a bunch of like really good shit. So they're listening, man.
Oh, they're always there. If I say anything about camping, my phone starts showing me camping gear advertisements. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, I know, man. It's gotten really scary though. It's getting like really specific. Like my wife was looking at something for her birthday, her 40th birthday is this week, and
yeah,
we were just, dude. Oh, thank you. We were just talking about it, and it was on my Facebook page, the exact item.
No, that's exactly what happens, man.
Like,
they
what
listen
the fuck?
to you even when your phone's in your pocket.
Yeah.
Even when you're not even on it.
I know.
We agreed to let them do that, and we didn't think that they would.
Right. Yeah. All those things that we set, hit accept. Nobody reads that shit. You just go through it, you hit accept, and you go on with your day. But who knows what it says in there, man? We could literally say that in the small paragraph. It could be like, "We have the right to listen to you poop." Yeah. Yeah, and it's probably exactly what it says.
Damn it.
I want to touch up a little bit on a couple of things you just said, though. Number one, about that movie with the concept of the Amber Alert. That's a very interesting concept because there is something about that when a great tragedy happens or something like that. It's the only time when everyone kind of all comes together on one thing, right? Where you choose to go after that is your decision, as far as your motives of what you want to do to either help the situation or make the situation worse. But the Amber Alert specifically, or any kind of alert that we all get to our phone at one time, it's the one time in the world where everyone is looking at the same fucking thing, right? Well, at least in the country,
or region,
Yeah, so that's a really, really interesting concept. That's really cool, and I'm interested to see what's going to come of that.
Cool. We filmed most of the film. There's a few scenes we throw in there. What we do, though, like I said, we do this strictly just to see what we can do with it. We'll make the trailer. We'll push the trailer out, and if anyone wants to see it, they can get a hold of us and we can show it to them. It's almost like a Criterion freaking like selection of indie films that no one gets to see unless they really want to. We don't just put them up. We put Amirman up because we had a couple of actors from the film that were like, they're not used to the industry. They're, they're budding, trying to get their feet wet. So they're like, this is the only thing I have. I want to see it. It's the only thing I have. And I understand that. So I'm like, okay. But we warn people, with the other films we do, we're like, look, these are no budgets. There's no distribution. There's nothing planned. This isn't a worldwide, phenomenon film. This is just us trying something to see what we could do by ourselves with no money. Right. And when it comes out really, really well, we have this insane, pitch that we can pitch to people. So the film did so well by itself, just with a couple scenes we cut and already had like stuff going out and showing it to people. I edited it together, the entire thing, and it was a little bit short, so it's good for like short film festivals. Mm-hmm. And I gave it to a producer, and he was like, "Man, this is just a pitch." He goes, "It's great." He's like, "But don't think of it as like you're just throwing this away." He's like, "This is a good pitch." He's like, "You could take this, you could take the film, the scenes, everything you got. You have a sizzle reel." He goes, "These actors are great. They're awesome. They all fit the roles." He's like, "We could pitch this to people, and if somebody wanted to make this movie, you've already got the concept." Right. And the trailer and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So it's funny that this year all the indie filmmaking I've been doing just paid off. Start meeting these producers that are like, man, you make trailers like the day you get on set. Like we plan on filming things in a way where we can have a teaser trailer, the first week,
Right.
And it's paying off. We have a new production team that we just joined in with. They're out of Atlanta, and the main producer of the production team is an Amazon producer, Rendell Bryce, and he is killing it. He's doing great. He did a film called From Zero to I Love You, and it's a beautiful story. And I think it's really cool to see someone tell a story about their friends like that. Like he was like, look, I love my friend's story. And he's like, and I want people to relate to them. So he made a whole story for them, and it ended up, being a hit. So it's like, it's really cool. So he actually not commissioned, but I wouldn't even say persuaded. We had a discussion one day. We were hanging out, and he's like, man, you should write this story. And I'm not going to tell you guys what it's about yet. But he was like, and I really think it would be gripping. I think people would love it. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went home, started writing my treatment, came back to him. And whenever I told him the treatment for the next movie we're doing, he told me, he's like, this is insane. He was like, this makes me jump off my seat.
Wow.
And wonder, what's up with the lead actor, or the lead character after the film? Like, I want to see another film, and I haven't even read the script yet. I've only heard the treatment. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to be fun. So I can't tell you guys much about that, but when it happens, you can bring me back on and we can talk about it.
I was just, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, once that's ready to go, not only do I need to see that, but we need to talk about it. We'll have another fucking little show here. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about Greyhound a little bit.
Okay.
This was a big one, man. Right beside legendary Tom Hanks. First off, awesome movie. Nonstop action from the beginning to end.
God,
my fucking walls were like shaking in my I got the sound system. Dude,
that's how you're supposed to watch it.
Yeah, man, it was amazing. Second, great job, man.
Thank you.
I'm not going to spoil the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. So Tom Hanks plays a U.S. Navy commander leading an Allied convoy being hunted by German submarines.
Yep.
So you play a helmsman on the ship with Tom Hanks.
Yep.
And so what was that?
Actually,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I played Forbrick. If you remember, I'm not gonna say the scene because it will spoil it, but when Tom Hanks is talking to one of the guys post some of the war scenes, and he's asking about people, and they start mentioning, oh, Forbrick, this, Forbrick, that.
Yeah.
That's my character. But the way the book's written, my character didn't have a name. He was just Lee Helmsman. And if you're a Navy man, you're not going to know who Forbrick is, but you're going to know who the Lee Helmsman is. So that's why they decided to take a lot of us. They took all of our names and just named us Lee Helmsman. And I think that's another lesson for actors. This is not our film. We're supporting the great Tom Hanks. He had an idea. He wants to stay true to the book. So these characters, even though we were given character names and we were supposed to learn our characters inside and out, they didn't prepare us to be, credited as Lee Helmsman. But I'm not the least bit upset about it. And other people have come up to me and they're like, oh man, Lee Helmsman #1. That sucks. They should have given you your name. I'm sorry, man. And I'm like, no, it really doesn't suck, dude. Like, for me to know in my heart, I played Forbrick. That's all I need. For, crediting purposes, if you know this book, you're not going to know who Forbrick is, but you're going to know when you see Lee Helmsman, you're going to know, oh, that's that guy that blah, 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 blah happens to, because you've read the book. So it's like, I don't know, it's epic. It's such an epic
it's funny that I messed that up because obviously I saw the movie the other night. I didn't pick up on the name. And when I was writing out the interview, I obviously looked on IMDb and I was like, oh, Helmsman, I didn't even think of that. But now that I think about it and you said it, I'm like, oh shit, that's right. He did say that. To be honest with you, man, one of my favorite parts of the whole movie was when you were whistling.
That's cool.
It was probably like just a moment of comic relief for the movie, but
yeah, there's only 2 in the entire film. There's only 2 funny parts in the entire film.
Right. Was that intentional? And whose idea was that? Or was that part of the script?
It was Tom. That was all Tom Hanks. It was written in the script. The coolest thing ever, though, I will say, is that in the script, Tom had written it for my character to whistle off key. Okay. Now, when it came to the day, I did that take where I whistled on key, and I was like, oh, wait, no, that's right. No, the script says off key. Okay. So I'm like, I can whistle, like, Like, I can't whistle. So trying to whistle off key was
more difficult.
It was difficult, but I ended up doing it, and then it didn't feel right because like it sounds so bad. It was like it's like so bad, and he was like, Tom was able to know what I was going for because my character, I didn't have time to talk to everybody, but I talked a little bit to Tom about it. My character, like, we got to come up with our own backstory. My character was a 17-year-old ensign who didn't want to be drafted into the war, who did not want to be there, but he went to New York from New Orleans trying to be a trumpet player. He wanted to be a well-known trumpet player. When he got to New York, he got drafted in. Now he's in the war. He only got a week of training, and now he's going to die. Like, or you never know if he's going to die or not. Like, he thinks he's going to die. Like, in my head, the whole time I'm thinking, I'm going to die. And so, like, it's an epic story about what it was like in 1942 for these young 17-year-old kids to be taken from their parents just because they were the only male figure in the family, and how gripping that is, like how terrifying that is for those characters. And we had a goofy scene where Tom wrote it in for me to hump the engine telegraph. So Carl Glussman from Netflix's Love is saying, "Oh, it sounds like slow screws, sir." And then I hear him say that. So, or I hear the talker echo it back. So I yell back, or I look at my counterpart, the helmsman, and I whisper to him, and I'm like, "Slow screws," and I start humping the engine telegraph. And it's the goofiest, funniest thing we did on that entire 3-month shoot.
Yeah.
And Tom was laughing, everyone was laughing, the director was laughing, but it was too goofy. It didn't fit the film.
Right, it wouldn't fit. Right.
You know,
right.
Whenever I was doing the scene, even though it was like, I love Tom's writing, I love his writing. I like even more so that Tom is the kind of person who can go, "Oh, I know I wrote this, but it could be better," you know?
Yeah.
So whenever we did that scene, he already had it in his mind. As soon as we did the scene, he's like, "This doesn't work," you know? And he kind of gave me that. He was like, "It might get cut as soon as we do it." And I was like, "Damn," but he knew. He was like, he wanted it at least to be tried. So I tried, but it was difficult to be in the middle of, we're in the middle of the ocean and there are U-boats surrounding us. I could, get blown up at any moment. This whole ship could get blown up, and be scared, and then break that fear with being, perverted teenager and making a joke. It was so hard to get into that, and I found a way to do it. And I really wish it would have made it to the cut, because it was hard to get into that from that point. But when we did the whistling scene, I was worried that was going to get cut too, because I was like, look, my character would not whistle off key because he wanted to be a trumpet player. He's musically inclined. He's not going to whistle off key. And I think whistling off key is just him throwing it in the script, So I did it that one take where I did it on key, and I did the other takes where I was off key. But Tom was not there for the one take where I did it on key. So they actually used my audio for me whistling on key on my close-up, and then they took that and put that over Tom and me together. And I was so happy they did, because Tom told me after the take, he said, we could probably ADR it. Because he knew, just looking at me, he knew I wanted to whistle on key.
Right.
He knew that I wanted that. And I was like so happy that he said that. I was like, thank you, man. Well, it's cool that he knows that.
Yeah, number one, he, what was it like working with him? It had to have been, is he as amazing as he seems? Like,
he's as amazing as he seems, and he's better than the world gives him credit for.
Wow.
And he's one of the coolest people. I'm not a religious man, but Tom is. He's a God-fearing, religious man, and he is true to every character that he plays. And you got to ask yourself, like, why is the world coming against good people? Well, I mean, that's your answer right there. They're good people, and the majority of the world isn't. So of course they're going to come against good people. But every time you see Tom in a movie, he makes sure to pay tribute, pay homage to the God that he believes in. And he prays to God in Forrest Gump. Him and Jenny pray to God. And then in The Green Mile, that whole movie's about spirituality. Like, so it's like when you see somebody who's on the forefront of trying to constantly show people positive imagery and show people, like, hey, look, it doesn't matter what you believe in. It doesn't matter what your religion is. We can all, agree that we should live this life out to its fullest and see how far we can get, see how high up we can build society instead of trying to tear it down because we're jealous or we're heartbroken or pained by, a past love or something. It's weird. Like, we talk about banality, like most evil people come from a place of fear and hurt. Like they weren't that mean or cruel or evil.
Right.
They didn't want to do something like that at first, but someone hurt them and they lost their hope or their ability to believe that things will get better. So working with someone, me and a couple of the other actors being not religious, and working with someone so very religious and straightforward with his beliefs, and then seeing the world attack him for conspiracy and just propaganda. It's
right.
It's not even just working with Tom Hanks that I want to talk to people about. I want to talk about him as a person and how he deserves better. He deserves better from humans. He deserves better from the people that call themselves fans of him. Mm-hmm. Like they all want to watch his films, but none of them want to stand up to defend him because they feel like they don't know him. He's a celebrity, and they just want to believe that every celebrity out there is the worst.
Right.
And sometimes celebrities prove them, right, and that sucks. Right. But Tom's an exception. He's one of the nicest, down to earth, most cool people. And like I said, for him to look me in the eyes and to know I wanted my character to whistle on key, even though he wrote it himself for me to whistle off key. I wanted it on key. And then when I saw the movie and I saw that he left it like me whistling on key, they didn't give me the close up for the whistle like I thought they would. But then look at the scene though. The entire book was written about the captain, not about his crew. The crew just supports him. We just support him as actors. And when you watch that scene, if they would have given me a close up, you wouldn't have been able to see Tom Hanks' amazing acting while he's slightly annoyed by me whistling, but slightly relieved because it's something that reminds him of not being at war.
Right.
And that's such an awesome moment. Like he doesn't yell at me. He doesn't tell Forbrick to be quiet. He doesn't even, and it's the coolest thing because on set, the XO, Tom Brittany from Grantchester, amazing. What's up, Tom? Tom Brittany yells at me. At one scene, he smacked me in the back of the head. And it was like really awesome. But I never got to see Tom's face because he was facing the opposite direction. So I never got to know what he was doing with his face, with his acting. And when I saw the movie and I saw how he wasn't angry, he wasn't annoyed. He was like, what do you think about this? He was like getting Tom Brittany's like reaction. And Tom Brittany doesn't tell me to be quiet until he looks away. I was like, oh God, I'm glad they didn't give me the close up. You wouldn't be able to see all three of us, doing that together if they gave me a close up. And, there's so many things about filmmaking that I love now because of this film.
Well, I got to be honest with you, man. That scene stuck out to me because as small as it was, and I mean, and a large picture of the whole movie, it's fucking, there's explosions going on every 2 seconds. So why would this little whistling scene stick out? You actually said it yourself, man. You know what? It's those little details that I look for. And I was looking for you because I was interviewing you in a few days. You know what I mean? But still, cool. Like those little things to me in film, especially, they stick out to me, and I appreciate those little things for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm glad you do, man.
But to hear the whole story behind it with Tom and Eric, that makes it even cooler. So I hope if anybody sees the movie and they see this, they'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh yeah. I mean, Tom's such a genius. He threw an Epstein joke in. I mean, come on. He's a genius. He's a genius, dude. He's such a genius. People are hilarious. He plays off people's conspiracies. He's not afraid of them. Right. He unfortunately he had to stop letting people comment on his fucking Instagram. And I have to talk about this because I see the other actors in interviews. And none of them are even touching these subjects. And I'm like, but I have to, because it's not like he's ignoring them. He has to delete all of his comments now. Like literally, you cannot comment, tag, or talk about Tom Hanks because he knows these conspiracy nuts are all drug addicted conspiracy folk who never made their dreams come true. They hate everything to do with anybody else's dreams. Right. And they're not good people. These people spread these conspiracies. They're not good people that want the best for the world. They don't, because they don't give a crap about anybody except for themselves. Yeah. And that's why they're harming people with no judgment of character, no like biased truth or facts, nothing. It's just all just, I heard this today and I believe it.
There was something I saw a few weeks ago on, I think it was Facebook, where Lady Gaga is drinking blood. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
She's drinking children's blood. And it's a fact as far as Facebook goes. Not as far as Facebook goes, as far as the people on Facebook.
The fact checkers.
It's a fact, yeah. It's literally a picture from American Horror Story, speaking of which, where she was the hotel season.
I remember that season,
with the little kids. And, they have like blood dripping out of their mouth and she's drinking. It's literally a picture. Yeah, she's a fucking vampire. Literally a picture from that. and people are claiming that she, and not only her, but many other Hollywood elite are drinking children's blood. I don't even remember. It's fucking insane.
It is insane. Let's just open up the world to this. You know, your viewers watching are gonna be more educated than most people. Yeah. If you watch a show like American Horror Story Hotel, and you see these amazing actors and, you know, just incredible influences on the world, giving you insight to, you know, possibility of evil out there. I don't know why people get this idea that they're like, oh yeah, look, she's drinking, you know, children's blood, and it's a TV show. But it blows my mind, because sometimes people will give you every ounce of truth and be like, hey, this has happened since, you know, the 1700s. People have been eating human beings. It's called cannibalism. There's a word for it. That's why it exists. Yes, there are cannibalistic people out there, and they exist. Yes, we are always going to be at war with humans that want to end other humans. If you want to live, you're on this side. If you want everyone to die, you're on that side. There's only two sides. If you want everyone to agree and be happy and just, you know, full of life, you're on this side. If you think that you want to, you know, support a racist agenda just to make people fight and kill each other, you're on this side. There's only two sides. And a lot of us walk on the fence most of the time, because we're like, look, we just don't want to fight. We don't. Both of you can just stop your fighting right now and realize no one has to die. We don't have to, you know, go, oh, well, I saw this person do this, they got to die. I saw this person do this, they got to die. It drives me nuts, man. Some of these celebrities really did try to find truth and find a dark truth that people were ignoring and bring it to light. And because of the messages and the things that they're bringing to light, now we know about it. And then to repay them, we turn around and blame the people who let us know about the truth. That's what gets me. That's what blows my mind. Is like, when you go to college, you don't go to college for cinematography. I mean, yeah, you might go study cinematography, but the actual degree is communications technology. Like, that's what people don't get. It's communications technology, because me and you right here making this episode, someone else is gonna learn something from it. We are communicating with people, even if they're not talking back to us. We are communicating to them right now. So that's what this is. That's what all entertainment is. Music, film, news, all communications technology. If you watch one news channel say something, you can't think that every single news channel is on the same fight. None of them are. And even though there's two sides to this fight, there are a bunch of different factions that think they're right on each side and they're doing better than the other. So it's like all these little micro fires, micro fights that are going on. I just can't get past this block that most humans have. For some reason, they want to believe that somebody else, some other human, is going to give them the answer to everything. You know, they want to believe that so much. Everybody's got this conspiracy or theory, but they're like, oh, but I got it from Q, or I got it from this celebrity, or I got it from this guy, or this nobody on the internet. And they believe that one person, but they won't believe the majority of people that have been in the industry for 40 to 50 years, not doing any harm, and always bringing positive messages about, and always, you know, just donating to cancer benefits, or donating their time to build homes in Africa and Haiti, you know, after some kind of natural disaster. And these people are spending like 8 months of a year sweating in Africa, building homes and schools. And people think that all celebrities are evil just because one or two people get caught doing something horrible. But humans are out there. Evil humans, like we said, evil humans are out there. And if somebody is out there and they are drinking children's blood, of course they're going to take a fake picture of Lady Gaga and put it in your face, because they're going to really want you to go after her and not them. So let that be said.
Fair enough. I think that the thing that bothers me the most about it is that someone goes online and just claims that as a fact and has nothing, absolutely nothing to back it up. I usually don't get involved with things, especially like politics and stuff like that online. But when I see something like that, I can't help myself. Like, my hands start working on their own. I'm like, all right, listen, first of all, this is a picture from American Horror Story. Second of all, can you please back this up with any kind of facts from a reputable source? That's all I asked. I wasn't rude or anything like that. And someone literally sent me a YouTube video of a documentary of that topic, people drinking blood from.
I'm ready to talk about this.
I'm ready to talk about this. I didn't watch it because my response was, YouTube, as great as it is not a reputable source for any kind of information. I can make a fucking video right now of me eating this pack of cigarettes and saying that
cigarettes are healthy for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I can make a documentary about it, and I can document it over the next week and tell you that my penis has gotten bigger from eating the bag of cigarettes. And I can present it as cold hard facts. Yeah,
they won't even go research it. They'll start eating them.
Yeah, dude, it's the sheep mentality in this world is mind blowing.
It is. It's scary. And like, why would they go after freedom of speech too? That's what's so stupid. It's like you're going after the people that are brave enough to put these messages out in public so that everyone's educated, and you're going after them, and you're going to make it harder for us to be able to put messages out. You're going to make it to where there's no entertainment. You're only going to be watching political propaganda. Like, it's going to be like Hitler. Like, the only thing you see on TV is your president. The only thing you see on TV is fucking Pelosi. You don't want that. You do not want that shit. She's a very boring person. You don't want to see her on TV every day. I got to take this jacket off because I'm sweating real quick. But I want to give a shout out to Dominique Fishback, lead actress of Project Power. Yeah. This jacket looks familiar, right?
Oh, shit, yeah.
I was wearing this jacket on set whenever me and Dominique met. So in that first scene that I'm in, you can see she's wearing a red jacket, but then for the rest of the film, she's wearing a jacket like this. She liked my jacket so much, she came up to me and she was like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." She put it on. She was like, "This is such a cool jacket." And she got Rendell, which that's, once again, shout out to Rendell Bryce, that producer I was talking about. I met him on Project Power. She got him and the other wardrobe lady to come up. She goes, "Can you guys find me a jacket like this for my character?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll get on it." And I watched the movie, man, and I'm just like, she's wearing my jacket pretty much the entire film, dude. I'm like, what? And my grandma gave me that. That was like a 30-year-old jacket. Oh,
that's great, man. Did it come back to you all in one piece? No stains, no nothing?
Oh, no.
You're working on a movie.
They literally, they're so good. Wardrobe's so good.
Oh, they made
they're so good. Wow. They took a picture of me. They took a picture of me and her standing next to each other. And they're like, "That's the jacket you want? We'll find it."
Oh, wow.
Went and got a jacket like that. And it became like Project Power's color coordination and everything.
Right.
It really did.
That's
to
really
answer your question, though, those conspiracy theorists think that they're onto something because there's an artist that goes by the name of what is it? I never can pronounce her name. Like everyone's obsessed with her. Abramovich. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Abramovich, right?
Yeah.
So she's known for throwing Hollywood parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you how this works. You kiddies, listen real quick. Don't believe 99% of the crap you hear on the internet. Why? If I'm somebody who's never been anybody, right, and I want to be an artist, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be an artist. I have to do something that's going to get me views, Some of these people get so power hungry or so just hungry with fame, like they're like, I'll never be happy with myself if I'm not famous. And they get like that, so they have to do something absurd to get people talking about them. They don't care if you hate them because they realize it's going to make them money. They don't care if you think they're evil or you despise them. If the more you think a person is evil, the more they're going to push out the message, "Oh, I'm evil, I'm evil, I'm evil," even though off camera they're a little pussy. They're going to push that message because they know you're going to keep watching. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Look at MGK. MGK had 666, Satan everywhere, had 666 on a purse he was carrying. And people like me, who are just a fan of MGK, see him carrying around a 666 purse going, okay, teach his own, whatever. I don't even know what to think. But you're like, but then you hear these messages like, oh, these people want to eat children. And then you see him carrying a 666 purse. And you're like, well, if anyone's going to eat children, it's going to be him. And you start worrying about it. But then you're in a movie with them and you're like, but this guy's so fucking cool. And I actually auditioned for the part MGK got. Like, that's how I got my part. But it was so, it was mind opening to see, like, when the quarantine hit, we were all humans. We were all locked up. We were all abandoned. And MGK wrote a story. He wrote a song about how he gave up on his savior, who was obviously Satan. He had a 666 purse. He was carrying everywhere, so obviously it wasn't God. But he said he gave up on that savior, and he actually prayed to God because it made him realize he was here at home. No one was talking to him. No one was adding him on all these awards. There were new musicians coming out and getting awards. And he said he remembered why he started writing music in the first place. It wasn't to push an agenda. It was because he was getting left out. He was getting cut out of all these acceptance things. And like, he wanted to be accepted as just being himself, so he became a rapper, and
right.
it's so cool. And he's turned a whole new leaf, and now he's doing punk rock.
I know.
I'm inspired by this guy. He's an amazing guy. But it goes to show you how human people are. We're all the same. We're all human.
Right.
We don't know what we're doing. No one's got the answer.
Right.
No one fucking knows what they're doing, no matter how old they are. We're all just trying to survive. That's it.
That's it. Man.
So when you see somebody talk about Abramovich and Lady Gaga, or I have friends that are such big conspiracy nuts, we fight about it all the time.
Mm.
But they still love me. They know I'm a good person. They still love me.
Yeah.
They're like, you're in the middle of the pit of hell. And I'm like, call it what you want, man. We're all in a fucking battle just to survive.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So Abramovich does this weird ritual artistic thing where she takes like semen, animal guts, and blood.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Throws on the wall, says cut into your left hand and all this shit. It freaks people out so much that now if you're a celebrity and you ever get a wound or a cut on your hand, if you're a celebrity and you ever get a cut or a wound on your left hand, beware. People are going to come out trying to fucking lynch you because they think that they just know that Obama is part of Abramovich. And it's like, I get it, dude. Like, they're like, oh, well, there's pictures of Will Ferrell at a party of hers. And I'm like, oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry, somebody was calling me. I was talking about the conspiracy nuts. I was talking about conspiracy nuts. You called me. What? But no, so like Abramovich has these videos. And then she, like I said, if I'm a nobody person, I just became an artist. And you only know me because I did this really weird thing that everyone's talking about.
Right.
She's smart. She made that happen. I'm still, we're all creeped out by her. She's like, like Adam's family member though. So it's like, we don't really know what to think about her. So she talks about like some artists actually accept her art and they become like, students. They start training with her. Well, once again, she does this weird shit. Lady Gaga went through it. I don't know if you guys remember. There was like that time where Lady Gaga wasn't the hot shit that she is now. And she went through this moment where people weren't really talking about her as much. So she does this thing with Abramovich, right? She does this video where she's completely nude on YouTube. And it's kind of like ritual scary. But she wanted you to talk about her, just like Abramovich. He keeps calling me, damn it. I'm going to have to fucking answer it in a second. Be like, dude, I'm on an interview. Don't go on.
Go ahead.
But no, she gets all this hate. Now, since that day, everyone slumps Lady Gaga in with Abramovich. But me, being a human that's worked with like 100 different huge celebrities, I know for a fact these people only meet each other once in their life. And people don't get that. Like, let's think Green Mile. Sam Rockwell worked with Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
They won awards. I think they were nominated for Oscars and stuff. That was like the best movie of the year. That was such a good movie.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell hadn't seen Tom Hanks since that film. Like, he had not seen Tom Hanks. He maybe seen him in passing, but hadn't worked with him or talked to him. They did an interview for the Rolling Stone, I think, or the Hollywood Reporter. They did an interview for them where they were sitting at the round table. It was Tom Hanks, everybody. I can name Sam Rockwell, Gary Oldman, everyone, Willem Dafoe, everyone was there. It was like my favorite interview. James Franco, who's another mentor of mine, was there too. And it was just like such an amazing interview. Tom goes to talk about James Franco's sexual assault cases and how they were debunked. And he's still getting attacked for it. It's still harming his career, even though they were debunked. And then that was before Tom had like not even a case. There was no cases. There's never been a case on Tom, but he's getting attacked. And it just goes to show you every single Hollywood actor is being attacked, even if they weren't with this Abramovich chick. They weren't even, with her. But Abramovich throws parties for celebrities, gets celebrities to come to her parties, and then the celebrities are caught in pictures where they had no fucking clue she was going to reveal that the cake they were eating is shaped like a human. It's a cake. It's not a real human. Like, people grow up, because if they did it at Halloween, you'd be there and you'd be like, this is so cool. Like, but because it's a celebrity and you're going to like, oh yeah, I wouldn't do that. You're full of shit. You would eat a cake for Halloween that was shaped like a human because it's a cake. But people freaked out about it. Oh my God, they're eating a cake shaped like a human. And even though they passed that video of the puppies and babies, their cakes being eaten, they passed those all over the internet like, wow, this is cool. But that cake, because it's Will Ferrell, freaked them out. If you watch that fucking video, if you look at the picture, Will Ferrell's face, it looks like he's shocked. It looks like he's like, fuck. Like he knows, I don't know this woman. I know she's an artist, but people are going to get me caught in this awkward position. And for the rest of his career, even though he never talks to her, probably never even sees
Right.
her, probably has never talked to that woman since that day. People forever are going to be like, well, I got a picture of Will Ferrell eating a human cake. Yep. And now they're going to attack Will Ferrell. Yep. And it's just how the internet is. And when I was raised without the internet, so we were raised where like the law is still the law. So if there's a celebrity and they do something bad, they get caught for it, boom. And then you hear the truth. Right. Oh, they're convicted. Oh, they're in jail. Oh, you know, Tupac was murdered. Right. You hear the truth. You don't hear a million conspiracies that you get to just decide which one you're a fan of, and then it like separates us all. It doesn't unite us, it separates us. Because some people hate God, some people love God, some people hate Satan, some people love Satan. But one thing that we should all fucking agree on is just like, you should not put your religion or your beliefs or anything that you want to be true in front of human life or human, you know, longevity. We should all work for us to be able to unify the world, and for us to be able to realize, like, it doesn't matter what you look like, sound like, act like, how tall you are, what sex you are, what gender or race you are. None of that should matter. It should just be, hey, all this stuff over here, all this conspiracy, it's entertaining. It's keeping me, you know, awake at night though. But that's just entertainment. Like, these people, most of them are just, like I said, pussy terrified humans. And they're not going to do anything to you. The big scary thing that you need to be keeping your eye on is the people who don't want you to know their face. The people who don't want you to see who they are, because they are way above the evil that you think you're pointing out. The banality of humans is always going to be worse than someone seeking attention for doing something risque or artistic.
Sure.
And I think if we can't decide, you know, if we can't decipher the differences, if we can't choose which conspiracy or which reality to go after, that's what's wrong with the internet right now. And that's why I'm glad you interviewed me today, because I'm feeling this.
You know what, man? This is exactly what I want, man. This is I gotta say, I've had a lot of great interviews so far, man, but this one you're fucking right on, man. This is awesome. Not only obviously for you, but for me, like, I feel like I've kind of done my job as far as creating this safe space where people can come talk about whatever they want. There's no bias here. There's no judgment here. And I'm a pop culture guy. I love movies. I love music and all that stuff. And that's pretty much what I talk about. But for this to go where it went today was pretty cool, man. I'm really excited about putting this one out there.
I'm excited to see it.
You're a very, very intelligent guy, man. And I love everything you have to say. It's really cool.
That means a lot to me.
No, absolutely. But I agree with you 100%, man. We need some kind of middle ground as far as humanity goes. Here's a perfect example to kind of sum it up. There's, you know, I'm sure you've heard of factcheck.org, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go on there, it's very, I would say, as far as the media goes, very left-sided as far as the facts. And then there's one called fact-check.org. And it's all right-sided views. And it's like, can't we just fucking have one that actually has facts?
Yeah, but you won't. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So that's kind of where the world's at. And unfortunately, I don't see it coming out of that anytime soon. But
You gotta hope that people like us will open their mind up to not relying on other humans to give them truth or honesty.
Yeah.
Don't rely on a single human being. I mean, there's people out there whose parents have tried to drown them as babies. Like, you cannot trust that humans know what they're doing. And you have to believe that, like, okay, I feel in my heart that if there are, you know, warriors, knights, good people out there, you know, good people on all sides, you know, yin and yang, there is a cop out there who wants to end police brutality. You know, there are, you know, drug dealers out there who want to end drug dealing. There are people out there who want, even though they're in a dark spot, they want to be a change. They want. Sure. And if we can just put our belief and energy into those people, because believe it or not, those people that their lives have put them in a dark space or a dark place, their lives may have put them there because we are too scared to be there, because they need to be there because no one can fight it from the outside. We don't know. Yeah. So we have to just keep hoping for those. And talking on interviews, I haven't talked this deeply into some of the people's conspiracies, but I'm getting hurt by it. You know, it gets to the point where I can't go anywhere or talk to anybody. Like, I'm glad you didn't really ask much about it, but like some interviews I have to just walk out of, because they're just trying to get a rise out of me. And they want to ask those questions, and it gets so aggravating, and you start getting so mad at it that you're like, look, I want to talk about it. I'm not gonna be scared. You know, I don't care who wants to come after me. I don't care what people think of me. If I'm willing to stand up for this, other people will. We need to talk about this. Like there are people out there that know, oh, we're scaring people, and they're not talking about it, and we're scaring them, and they want you to just keep quiet so that they can go ahead and keep making these new laws you don't know about. And
right.
I mean, if that's what the big point is, and we can all see that together, and if we can all unite on that, that should be our focus. Not
absolutely, man.
Maria Abramovich. I think that's her name, Maria Abramovich. Yeah. That shouldn't be our focus. Our focus shouldn't be on, that. It should be on, oh, okay, here's something scary, but I don't give a shit to talk about. Why is Bill Gates making a fucking vaccination for fucking coronavirus? Right?
Yeah.
People are like, you shouldn't talk about this stuff. Bill Gates is a billionaire. You might get blacklisted. You might lose your credibility, or you might lose your acting career. And I'm like, fuck my acting career, man. Like, I've already acted with some of the biggest actors in the world, and I got people calling me to do lead roles in $100,000 budget films. I'm getting paid.
Right.
I'm good. I don't need to be like the biggest actor in the world if it means I can stand up for something I believe in and die with honor. I would much rather leave this world with honor than leave this world going, well, I was famous. Yeah.
Dude, I fucking love you, man. You are awesome.
I love you too, dude.
This is great, man. This is I'm trying to make like some kind of art here in a way. It's weird. And you really get it. You got it.
Yeah, dude. Hell fucking yeah, man.
Hell fucking yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So listen, we're gonna start wrapping it up, but I have to do my little fun part. I love this fun part. So I ask you just a couple favorites, and then I'm gonna show. I stalk your Instagram like an ex-girlfriend a little bit. I take a couple pictures, cool. And then we discuss what's going on in those pictures.
Awesome.
So favorite horror film. Oh, I know it's hard. I know this is on the spot kind of stuff, but
it's actually not. It's not that hard, man. Okay. Megan is Missing.
Oh my God. You know what? I haven't seen this movie, but I know of it. I haven't, and I'm a huge horror fan. Go ahead and explain this movie a little bit, because I'm going to watch it tonight now. You just reminded me of it.
Everyone wants to do their own POV mockumentary style horror films ever since the Blair Witch Project.
Right.
Speaking of Henry and Rel, they directed two of my favorite Paranormal Activity movies. The two that were my favorite were them.
Yeah.
And they were so
I agree,
good.
Man.
Like,
Dude,
the
third
Xbox
one?
Scene. Yeah, third one.
Yes.
The Xbox scene where
yeah. Dude. My favorite scene actually is the fan, the oscillating fan.
Yes, and the third one.
The tension of that scene is amazing.
Right at the corner of the kitchen and the living room.
Yep. So and I love the fucking furniture on the ceiling part. Great. Those are my favorites, 3 and 4. Holy shit.
I'm telling you. I'm like, how do you even do that? But I love that. But Megan is Missing takes the cake. It was the only movie that they investigated because they thought it was real. It was the director of American Horror Story, Michael Goy. That was his call to arms. He did Megan is Missing, $9,000 to get the movie made. There's even a scene in the movie where you can see the shadow of the camera on the wall when it's not supposed to be a big camera rig. It's supposed to be a cell phone.
Right.
So it's just like, it's so funny to see that movie and know that there are some filmmaking inconsistencies from the beginning career. But he went to be the director of 4 or 5, 6 seasons of American Horror Story.
Right.
And he was the director of photography and the director of many of the seasons. And he's amazing. He's amazing at everything he does. And actually, it's funny that you're talking about like the no budget slashers. I ended up trying to make a movie with Michael Goy. Like he's a dear friend of mine. He mentored me the whole time I was on American Horror Story. And I met him one day before I worked American Horror Story. I met him at a film festival, and he directed Megan is Missing. So I said, I was in the crowd, and he was like, "Yeah, I directed a little film that got me, popularity. It was called Megan is Missing." And I stood up and gasped. I was like, couldn't believe it was him. I don't want to give it away for your audience, but you guys got to watch this movie.
I haven't seen it either, so yeah.
Don't hate me. It's the scariest movie you'll ever see. It is definitely the scariest movie you'll ever see. And it's one of those movies you don't want to watch twice. You watch it once and you're like, okay, it's in my head forever. I'm good. Right. But I love horror movies, and I love the way he did it, because it does make me like prepared for whenever I become a father in the future. I want to be a good dad. I want to be a protective dad and stuff. And this movie definitely opens you up to some choices that a few of the characters make that ruin this, a couple people's lives. And I don't want to give away anything else. Megan is Missing. Go.
So yeah, I mean, and to do a small budget movie like that and have such an impact, it doesn't matter if there's a camera shadow on the wall, because the content is there. And that's why he landed fucking American Horror Story and things like that. You don't have to have $1 million to make something if you have a good fucking idea.
Yeah, and you can even have a mistake like the camera shadow and still get there.
Yep, that's it. Doesn't have to be perfect, you know.
You there?
Favorite rap album.
Favorite rap album. All right. That one is hard. I
know. Yeah, this one throws everyone off. Yeah.
I gotta be honest, man. I'm loving everything off of MGK's Tickets to My Downfall.
Yeah, the new one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Tickets to My Downfall. I love it so much. And I think it's funny. This is another thing. He's going through a lot of scrutiny with the album cover for Tickets to My Downfall, but it's a picture of him. Someone drew a picture of him for the album cover, but I guess they wanted money from the album cover. Like, they drew it, sent it to him. He liked it and picked it, and so he had to change his whole album cover. Right. So the release was supposed to be like last week, and now he's dealing with that. And I'm like, God, dude, like, celebrities never get a break, man. they tell you you're gonna get a big break.
Seriously, no, right. I know. Favorite guitarist.
Jay Pouget from Fire Inside.
Okay.
AFI. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely. He won an award for the best guitar solo on a punk song for what was it? It wasn't Girls Not Great. It was Silver and Cold, I think.
Okay.
One of those. It was one of the songs. I can't remember right now, but he won an award, best guitar solo on a punk album, and I want to beat that award.
Yeah, there we go.
Beat that award today.
You heard it here first. Favorite curse word.
Oh damn. Shite.
Shite. Good one.
I think.
So listen, you could spend 1 hour with one person, dead or alive. Who would it be and why?
Damn, Chadwick Boseman.
Wow.
He said something that got me through most of my career.
Yeah. Which
was, he did an interview and he said his agents, his managers, publicists, they all, they want him to get his face out there. He's like, but I was getting auditions for things I don't want to do. And everyone kept telling me, oh, you just got to take every job that comes to you. You never know if you're going to get another one. He's like, but that's not fair because I don't want to play these stereotypical roles. He's like, I don't want to get stuck in something that'll turn me into something I'm not. And I have been getting, the stereotypical, like I said, I get the stoner role because I got the Asian eyes and they just automatically fucking, oh, he's a stoner. So like I get the stoner roles, but like I accept those because I know that's like my leg in, But this is the year, 2020 has taught me the rest of my career is gonna be geared at like being able to say no, being able to say, look, that someone else can have a lot of fun doing that. I'm going to let them, enjoy that. That's their dream come true. I've got to go to the next step. I've got to, this lead role I'm doing in Connecticut is going to be my best acting so far. And I couldn't have gotten that if I said yes to something else. And that's all because of Chadwick Boseman.
Right. That's awesome, man. So here, I got to do this. We're going to share my screen here. You're going to see my screen.
Okay. Uh-oh.
All right. Listen, I pick flattering pictures. Okay, I don't try to find things that are bad. So let's see. We're gonna
he said that, but I see one of them. Oh no. Okay.
All right, so we got this one right here. Well, first of all, we have to describe it a little bit because not everyone's going to see the YouTube video. They're also going to listen to the podcast. So.
You guys should watch a YouTube video though. He's got a badass background.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, it's my logo. Yeah. So we got Joseph here on the guitar.
Yep.
It looks like, I don't know. It looks like you're in like a warehouse or somewhere.
He does. I don't know if you guys. What state are you in?
I'm in New York, Long Island, New York.
You're in New York. Do you have Here Today, Gone Tomorrow there?
I don't believe so.
It's almost like a big Goodwill thrift store. They sell furniture, everything. They sell everything. And a good old buddy of mine, late Jason, rest in peace, Jason. He was the owner of the store. He took over from someone else, and it's just a thrift store. It's nothing special. But he loved music so much, and he always wanted to own a music venue that he cleared out a whole section of the back of the thrift store. And you can't see the top of it, but it's awesome. It's got like old school lamps surrounding the entire roof. So it was like the best lighting we ever had in that place. And we used to play shows there every weekend in Baton Rouge. And Jason made our dreams come true. He did.
That's awesome. So next up, well, let me get rid of this one. We got we got Joseph standing next to you, Hannibal Buress.
Yeah.
On a balcony.
My dad's favorite comedian.
Yeah. I love that guy. He's hilarious.
He is. I heard him laughing. It's so funny, man. That shot right there. What time of day does it look like?
It looks like afternoon, like 12 o'clock.
Yeah, it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I think it was actually like 2:45 in the morning whenever we started filming.
Wow.
And yeah.
So this was Daddy's home, right?
This was Daddy's home.
Okay.
My first audition was on Daddy's home, or my first like Hollywood audition, my first mainstream audition was
Right.
Daddy's home, and I would have one line, and it was that little kid on the half pipe that goes, "Hey, it's your turn, Mr. Mayron." That kid, but they were gonna give it to me, and I was supposed to say like something like, "Hey, you're up, Dusty," just like one line. And I didn't get it. And there's nothing worse in an actor's career than in the beginning of his career whenever he doesn't get a one-line audition. Like, it's just so distraught. Like, what? I didn't say one line right? So it's like, it's distraught. But like, they called me. They liked the audition, so they called me in and asked me to do an extra role. And I almost took it as an insult. Like now in my career, I'm not allowed to do extra roles. Back then I could. So I was like, you know what? I don't care. I want to meet Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. And who knows if I'll ever have another chance.
Yeah.
Screw it. I'm doing it. You gotta swallow your pride and realize it's not about your own, recognition. Sometimes it's just like, you don't want to deny yourself those fun times. Well, I was on there, and this is the craziest day. It's one of the craziest days of my life. I'm hanging out with one of my biggest idols, Tony Hawk, right? Tony Hawk is skateboarding this half pipe, but he looks nervous. And I've never seen Tony Hawk nervous in my entire life, So I'm like, "You're nervous, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, the guys that built the half pipe build movie sets. They're not regulated to build half pipes. They might not know what they're doing." He goes, "They're trying. Everyone's hiring the right people, but," he goes, "I don't know." He's so nervous.
They're YouTubing it.
It's like he could tell the future though, because he drops off the house, does his little, the half pipe run, and he ends up bailing, and one of the pieces of wood was sticking out, and it like took his board out from underneath him, and he gashed open his leg. So Tony Hawk's wearing khaki pants. He's dressed up like Will Ferrell because he's stunt doubling for Will Ferrell. He's wearing khaki pants. Now his whole left leg of his pants is just like blood, like all the way down his leg. I'm watching the khaki pants turn red, and I'm like, "Oh my God, dude." So the EMS shows up. They rip his pants. They put a tourniquet around his leg. They start like working on him right there, pulling the wood out of his leg while they're bringing him to the EMS. We didn't know if he was coming back. We were like, "Wow, Tony Hawk's dead." we didn't think he was really dead. We were like, "Yeah, he's dead," meaning like he's not going to come back to the set. The next day, Tony Hawk comes back like nothing had ever happened. And he does the trick, and he lands it, and it was epic. And I was like, "Dude, I'm so glad I was here for this." And I thought, I'm going home. That was it. That was the experience. I'm checking out, and I was the last extra in line to check out. And Hannibal Buress, he came up there on the half pipe earlier in the day, and me and him started talking. And he was like, "How do I remember you from somewhere?" And I started tearing up. I really did. And I was like, "Hold on." He goes, "What?" I cut off Hannibal Buress after he said that. I said, "Hold on." I pull out my phone, and I start texting. And he gives me this look like, "What are you doing?" And I went, "Sorry, man. I had to text my dad and let him know that his favorite comedian just recognized me." I was like, "This is the moment I had to do that." And he started laughing. And he's like, "What?" He's like, "But seriously, where are you from?" I was like, "Well, I'm from here, but I lived in California a little while. I was on a show at the Comedy Store with Don Barris and Jimmy Kimmel called The Ding Dong Show." But he finished my sentence. He goes, "The Ding Dong Show. Don Barris, the crazy motherfucker, dude." He was like, he instantly he knew the show. He's like, "Man, that's hilarious, man." He's like, I knew you were the guy with the guitar, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was like, "What? You're Hannibal Buress? What the hell?" I couldn't believe it, man. So he was like, "Yeah, man, that's cool." So after we talked like that, he told them, "Go get the kid with the long hair." And I was just about to check out for the day, but I let a woman and her kids go in front of me because they were tired and they needed to go. And the guy gets a call over the walkie-talkie, and he's like, "Yeah, no, he's right here. No, I'm about to check him out." "Oh, okay." And he takes my paper from me, he rips it up, and he goes, "You're lucky, man. They still need you." And I was like, "What?" And I was the only person on set. So I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Go back up set. They need you right now." So I go to set, and it's the whole team. It's freaking Sean Anders and like the people that have been making great movies with freaking Will Ferrell for years,
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, Joe, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey guys." Earlier in the day, they let me do like a bit part, right? I guess they knew. Oh, we gave him an audition. He didn't get it, and he still came to do an extra work. Listen, so they gave me like a little bit part. So I got to meet Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, and kind of work with them. And they were giving me an action, like, all right, action, Mark, action, Will, all right, action, Joe. And I was like, oh my God, dude, they're giving me an action with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. Holy shit! I was like just blown away. But it didn't work out. It didn't look good, so they cut it. I didn't know they were going to cut it, but that's why they called me back. And
right.
they're like, hey, look, don't send him home. Bring him up here. So I climb up on the set. It's like 2:45 in the morning, and they have such bright lights on us that it looks like daytime. And Hannibal Buress is sitting there, and he goes, hey, man, what's up? And I'm like, hey, man, this is cool. He goes, yeah. He's like, I thought, we need somebody up here so I'm not all alone talking to myself. And I thought, yeah, you were up here earlier. And I was like, dude, that's so cool. I was like, you pulled me into the scene. I wasn't even supposed to be here. I was like, so cool. But then we started doing like jokes back and forth. And there's so much they cut out of the movie that he's just like spitting out like one-liners at me, and I'm cracking up laughing the whole damn time, dude. And then whenever they call cut, I would like spit one-liners back at him, and he would start laughing. And he's like, man, why aren't you doing that whenever they're rolling? I was like, they're not paying me to, and they won't let me talk. It's like, it's a SAG thing, they have to pay me an extra $900 tonight if I say one word. So they don't want to do that. They want to save money. Maybe they need that money down the line for something, someone gets injured. They have to save their money. So I was prepared for it. But I'll tell you this, any actors watching right now, if they put a boom mic over your head and someone else is talking to you in the scene, go ahead and just spit out one line. It will not hurt. It'll never hurt. They'll never hate you for it. They're going to do multiple takes anyways. Cut it out. And if you're not supposed to talk, they can just cut your line out. Mm-hmm. But just go ahead and try it once, because if you do a really good job, then they probably will let you speak, and they'll probably pay you that $900. Sure. But I was shy. And at the time, I just kept quiet. But I wanted so hard, like so bad, to make sure that something we did, stayed to the film. So he looks at me and he's like, man, you'll get to talk one day. I know, you'll get it. You'll get your break. And I was like, thank you, man. It means a lot to me. So he said something funny. He goes, man, I bet you he died. Whenever Will Ferrell gets electrocuted, he goes, I bet you he's dead. And when he says, I bet you he's dead, I looked at him and I went, like, I'll take that bet. Without saying it, I gave that look and I fist bumped him, and he fist bumped with me. And it was so funny that the director started laughing. He was like, that's great. Can you guys do it again? So we did it again. Yeah. And I didn't know that they were going to use it like that, because they don't have him saying, I'll take that bet or anything. Right. Or like, oh, I'll bet he's dead. They just have Mark Wahlberg going, what does that mean? And the kid goes, he's dead? And Mark Wahlberg goes, yes. And then it goes to us fist bumping. And it was like the funniest moment. But it's funny because they actually gave my credit. They wanted to credit me, but they didn't know my name. So they gave my credit, fist bump kid on half pipe, to somebody else. So if you watch the end of the movie, my character is credited in that movie, but he's credited as a different actor. Right. That's nuts. That actor actually got royalties for it, and he actually went off to get a main role in a big TV show. So I was like,
well, listen, your time is coming very soon. Very, very soon.
Well, no, it did, dude. It did after that. I never quit. I was like,
exactly,
I'm not going to give up.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. See, I love this because I'm just taking these little random pictures and look at the stories I'm getting out of it.
Yeah, all true. Right,
here we go.
When they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's check this one out here. What do we got going on here?
Oh, Jesus.
So we got Joseph here. He is.
That's what I thought it was.
Is this your homage to Fences?
That's my. Oh, it should be, right? It should be. But no. The tattoos on my chest. Up, yeah. Even though they look a little weird, they look very similar to the actual guy that I am paying homage to, which was Oscar Wilde. He goes by the name Oscar Wilde, not the author Oscar Wilde, but the DJ producer, I guess. You guys might know him from Vine, but that's all he did on Vine. He was topless with his tattoos, and he would play music he produced, and then he would do these weird hand gestures that looked like he was getting like airhead from somebody. Like he would do this all the time, and it was so cringy, and I just couldn't help but like have to poke fun at this guy because he was a celebrity. He had like millions and millions of followers, and I had like no one was watching my Vine at the time. So I did this, and this is really crazy. You brought this picture up, man. It's like you brought the best pictures up. I did this, and you can't see it, but off camera there's a microwave, and so I'm like beep 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 beep, and I'm like pressing buttons on the microwave, and I'm pretending like the microwave is like my beat that I made. It's like beep beep beep. Like it's so funny. But this, bless her heart, rest in peace. There was a Vine star who actually got an MTV show. Her name was, God, I wish I could remember her name. I feel so bad for not remembering her name. oh, it was like a name that could be a guy or a girl's name, but if you guys know her, you know, comment on this and tell him who she is. But she was Stevie Ryan. There. Oh God.
Oh, I've heard that name. Yeah, definitely
Stevie
heard that
Ryan.
name. Yeah.
She committed suicide because she was put through so much crap from people who were giving her crap about her content. She saw this Vine before anyone knew who she was. She saw this Vine and she stole my Vine. She did the exact same thing. She wore like a tank top, like cut off, so that like, you know, it was like a bra almost, but like she had her shoulders and her chest looking like it was tattooed, her neck tattooed, everything, the beanie, the gauges, the chain, everything, doing the exact same thing on the microwave, beep, 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 same exact Vine. And it blew up. Like she got like, I think like 20 million likes on it, something like, and it's funny how that you can interact with people without ever knowing that they're going to be part of your life.
Sure. Wow, that's really cool, man. Let's see what we got next.
Yeah.
Right. So we got 4 people here in some. Well, one's Ghostface. Yeah. Then we got like a devil, and I don't know, some kind of zombie maybe, and then a clown, killer clown. So which one is you?
I was the killer clown. I mean, I'm holding the camera, so I'm gonna be the one that's closest to the camera.
Gotcha.
I was the killer.
Gotcha.
I was the killer clown. The jaw on that thing moves, and the face falls off. Like the skin falls off. Yeah. We worked at a haunted corn maze. The ghost face, that is Dana. I believe that's Dana, or it might have been the devil. It's one of them two. And then the other one is Dodie. And the one in the middle that's a zombie, that's my ex. So I'm not going to give her any credit. But I'm just kidding. But no, like, everyone knows her. Everyone knows her. But yeah, like it's such a fun place. It's called the Corn Maze of Louisiana. And WAFB sponsors this family. They grow corn every year. They give the corn, half of it goes to produce, and the other half goes to like feeding hungry people. But the corn maze itself, they cut into a shape of some various design, and they let people go through the maze from like the end of August or end of September to Halloween. Whenever Halloween comes around, about 2 weeks before Halloween, a week before Halloween, they turn it to a haunted maze, and they hire us, they pay us really well, and they let us go in and haunt the place. No one knows that we're actual actors, but they want good actors because they want people to be scared. And it gets so scary sometimes, man. They built a trash can that I could fit in. It looks like a real trash can. Yeah. So it's funny because like every year I get covered in Gatorade and customers get covered in Gatorade because someone is coming to throw away a Gatorade, and I pop open that trash can and they just spill it everywhere and they freak out and scream. We scared someone so bad they ran out of the corn maze to their car, started their car, and drove off. and then they did a review about it. And we didn't even know that they were like a critic for haunted houses. And they were like, this haunted house is the scariest haunted house in the country. They were like, he was like, I've been all over the country. I've never been scared out of the haunted house into my car and was scared the whole way home. He was like, I've never been that scared. I've been working there since 2005. And every once in a while, when I have a free Halloween, I'll go sign up and join them again. Nice. So we're actually going to be there this year, actually.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, man. I love, I never, participated in the scaring, but I've been, I know. I've been to, some haunted houses over the past couple of years, but it's tough for me, man, because like my wife's terrified of the shit, Oh,
yeah.
So we go in together and she just kind of like pushes me through it. Like she holds onto my back and just like I don't get to see anything. She just screams and pushes me until so I can't say I haven't enjoyed one in a while, but yeah, it's a good time. All right, here we go. She's gonna love that later. All right, we got. I believe this is American Horror Story set, right?
Yeah, it might be the last time I ever flipped the bird.
we got Joseph in the middle and 2 gentlemen on both sides, giving the finger. So this was American Horror Story. What's going on here?
All right, so the person that took that picture was I don't know if it was Sarah Paulson or it was Jessica Lang. I can't remember who it was that took that picture. We're at this party. It was the half rap party, so it wasn't the rap party for the show. But if you saw that season, Kathy Bates was only in it halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
So she had another TV show, Disjointed, that she was working on. And I don't know if she needed to go for that reason, but they cut her out halfway through the season, and she had her own rap party. So we had a rap party just for her that night. And it was a pretty fun party, but it was also at this clothing optional club. So what you don't see are like the 5 naked people in the pool on the other side of the camera.
Oh, wow.
And so like people were just like, they're just hanging out, having like a really good time. And then we go outside and I was like, whoa, there's some random naked people out here. And they're like, oh yeah, this is a clothing optional, resort. So that's going to happen. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. We're all naked, so underneath. So whatever. I'm not opposed to it or whatever. But, whoever it was that took this picture came up and they were like, pose for the picture. And for some reason, I don't know why, but all 3 of us flipped the bird. And we didn't know. We weren't looking at each other knowing we did it. And They took the picture really quick. And they took pictures of a bunch of people. But this one got out and it ended up like popping up in places. And the person on the left or the right of me, but to the left of the screen, that is Brian Blasingame. He played he played Satan. He played the devil in another Michael Boyd production, Salem. So if you saw that, I think it was season 2. He played that demon, that really crazy, cool-looking demon.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Wow.
the guy on the right side of the picture, that's Drew Renverick.
Mm-hmm.
Drew is he played Toulouse in Freak Show, the French-speaking little person.
Yep.
He was the guy that made out with Sarah Paulson in that episode, and he is now one of my best friends. He's a really good friend of mine.
Wow.
We went through a lot together. We've traveled the country together, and he's a really crazy, awesome, cool, down-to-earth person. And he's taught me so much about life. But I'm serious. I think that's the last time I flipped the bird.
Well, you can do it right now if you want.
Right, there you go.
Now this is the last time. Ha ha.
First time I flipped the bird in 5 years.
All right, here we go. There we go. All right.
Yes.
So we got Joseph in the middle as a juggalo.
Yeah.
With ICP themselves. Yeah.
Yep. Violent
Holy
J.
Shit.
Freaking Shaggy 2 Dope. So
I'm assuming this is from the movie Family.
Yeah, that is absolutely from it.
And so what's going on? And how was this? This is a moment right here.
That is definitely a moment. Yeah. So the craziest part about that film was I'm playing a comedic relief character. I have to be goofy and happy in many of my scenes. And my grandfather died like the day before this picture was taken. And I got so many stories I can tell you about that later on, like if I come back, about how I got my dog and stuff. But with this, it was like we were all dressed up in Juggalo face paint. And it was like the first time the main cast got to meet each other. So like Taylor Schilling, me, Fabrizio, ICP's always, donned in Juggalo face paint, but we all met in Juggalo face paint. So we like never met each other until we're all painted up like Juggalos. And it's just like so funny because here comes ICP, they get out of their Escalade and they're already in Juggalo face paint when they get there, but we've been sitting in makeup doing this.
Right.
And so I ran out the trailer and I went up to them and I got to meet them outside. And they were so cool, and they taught me how to do the whoop whoop. They taught me how to do that. I would have never known how to do this, and I never knew that it was a big deal because, like, my friends who weren't educated but wanted to be ICP, enthusiasts, they didn't know that there was a certain vernacular to the whoop whoop. They didn't know there was a cadence, so they were like whoop whoop, like that's all it was. But ICP themselves told me, "No, man. There's a certain," and so the way finally Jay said, he's like, "There's a certain way you gotta say it. You gotta give the first whoop. You just throw it out to your brothers and sisters. Whoop, just throw it out. And then the second one, that's the call to the wild. That's the ones that aren't around. You're trying to reach out to. So the whoop whoop. It's like the second one's he's gotta carry on." And so he tells me this, and then this day happens. It was like my first speaking scene, which was actually the last speaking scene in the movie. And they were behind the scenes watching, and it was just like so many of my favorite actors behind the cameras watching this night. And I'm like blown away by this. And it was like, we're on display, and it was really like, better not screw this up. And it went so well. And the whole night just went so well that ICP wanted to meet us all. They wanted to like actually meet us again, like, not just for a second. And they gave us like all these signed autographed t-shirts and CDs and books and comics and movies. We just had like all this like signed ICP gear to go home with. And I'm in ICP paint with the rest of the lead cast. Fabrizio is now the lead male supporting actor of Mr. Iglesias on Netflix with Gabriel Iglesias. Wow. And Bryn Vale, the lead actress of Family, has an awesome movie coming out. I can't wait to see it. And it's just like, right then we're all like budding. We're all like kind of, wow, we're here with ICP. This is crazy. And they told us everything. So they took this picture. They took pictures separately with us and took a whole cast picture with us. But while we're taking this picture right here, ICP was actually telling me about the Disney story, how they started their entire music career. And Violent J looks at me right after this picture, and he says, man, it's just how you supposed to bring, he said, how you supposed to bring controversy back to the forefront, make controversial messages when everyone's so damn PC and scared to even talk about controversy. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you're right, man. You're right. And then like right after this film, they went to do that Washington protest where everyone kept calling ICP gang members. If you were wearing ICP face paint, you were getting put in jail because they were calling you a gang member in some cities. And it's scary, man. And the fact they were doing that to them just because they're fans of something is a little lunatic. Yeah.
No, it's crazy, man. Dude. First of all, you nailed those impersonations of them. I've never spoken to them, but I know they speak like that, and you fucking that was awesome.
That's funny, Jake.
So, all right, we got one more here.
My daughter's school wants me to pay for a digital chalkboard. What the fuck?
Oh, that's great. So here we go, man. We got you in the background here, and Tom Hanks in the forefront with a Pikachu hat.
With a Pikachu hat, right? Like I can't explain like how life kind of writes itself sometimes. Yeah. So me and my friend, before this we developed a company called Pokebus, which we went across country, picked up Smosh games, and we have a video with Smosh games where we're driving around in our Pokebus. And it was at a time where one of my friends was a police officer. He was a details officer at my job in Louisiana, and he was killed. His name was Montreal. He was killed, and Barack Obama was talking about Montreal on TV. And he would have never known. But it was because all the violence, cops versus blacks and blacks versus cops, just back and forth. And it was so bad at the time that, like, I was so sad to lose my friend, and none of us could drive around playing Pokemon Go when it first came out because people were getting pulled over left and right. Cops were like, why are you out? Why are you out? What are you doing? Why did you take 2 U-turns? They were so curious as to why anyone was driving. So me and my friend developed this company. We said, look, we're gonna buy a bus, and we're going to pick people up who get on our app and want us to pick them up. We're going to pick them up, and we're going to bring them and their families around so they can play Pokemon Go safely. They want to stop at this, grocery store. They want to stop at this gas station. Want to stop at this place. We will stop. We'll make sure they go out safely, and at the same time, we have a TV playing Pokemon stuff. And we really wanted to do this for fans of Pokemon. And we got threatened to be sued by Niantic because they made Pokemon Go, and they were like, no, you can't use the word Poka in Pokebus. And I was like, you're wrong, because Poke is Japanese for pocket, and it's the word pocket, and you can't copyright pocket, so kiss my ass. And I told Pokemon, basically told Pokemon Go, told Niantic to kiss my ass. You're not going to sue us. And they dropped the lawsuit, and they never won. But we have the best memories of going across country with, Pokebus. And as soon as all this happened with Tom Hanks and I got booked for this role, they put us in boot camp to train for the characters so that we could, see what it was like going through boot camp, for the Navy. And we trained with Dale Dye. They have a rule in boot camps. I don't know if it's all over the place or just this one boot camp in Louisiana, but our XOs, both the XOs we had, they always did this thing in boot camp. If you show up late, if you weren't on time, if if you didn't clean your gun right, if all this stuff, if you didn't do something right and you fucked up, they would put a hat on your head, like an embarrassing hat, and make you wear the hat, right? So they made us wear the hat, wear the Pikachu hat. They just pulled it out of their bag. They had a Pikachu hat. They're like, we figured this is the most embarrassing hat. And like one day, like I did something, I slipped up and didn't do my job right on the boat. And so they made me wear the hat. And I'm like, you think this is embarrassing? This is a fucking honor. It was like, I'm honored. And so like they were laughing about it. And then another guy, Jesse, he comes in. He was the last, actor to come into the boot camp. So they put the hat on his head, and he wore the hat. But then he accidentally took the hat home because he'd been wearing it and stuff. Like, I guess he took it home or he had it or something. But he had the idea. He's like, hey, we've all been training in boot camp, and we're gonna meet Tom Hanks tomorrow. He's like, so technically Tom Hanks is the last fucking dude to be part of our crew. So right. we're all family now. We're all crew, us and the lead cast, Rob Morgan, all of us. We all been talking on this boat for, days. Tom Hanks shows up. He's like, first thing out of Tom Hanks' mouth is, what's up, fuckers? You guys ready to make a badass movie? And we're like, yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then Jesse pulls out the hat and he goes, we got one problem, sir. He's like, yeah, what's that? He's like, you're the last one to show up. And so he passed the Pikachu hat. And Tom Hanks goes, damn it. He's like, all right. He put it on. He's like, I guess that's my bad. And like, we took this group picture together with him wearing the fucking Pikachu hat. And when I sent that to my friend that made the Pokebus company with me,
yeah,
he was like, dude, this is like the highlight of our life. Like,
yeah. No,
like,
that's huge, man. That's fucking awesome. Holy shit.
Because Niantic and Pokemon saw this picture.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And
I hope they see this podcast too.
That would be awesome.
All right. So I'm going to come back to the regular screen here. Here we go. And we're still recording. Good. All right. Listen, man. This was epic. We're going on 2 hours here.
Oh, damn.
This is great. Usually I do about 45 minutes. Sometimes, like, I think the longest one I've done was Christopher. It was like an hour.
Oh, wow, cool.
This is like the deluxe edition director's cut, and honestly, I'm barely going to cut anything out of this. I'm just going to cut out the technical issues we had.
Yeah.
So everything's staying. Everything was gold, man. This was a really good time. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed having you on. And
I loved being here, man. Thank you.
I hope you consider coming back. Absolutely. On a scale from 1 to hell fucking yeah, how much did you enjoy being here today?
Oh, fucking hell fucking yeah.
Awesome, man.